40,000 years ago, if you dropped a piece of gold on the ground, most people would simply walk past it. But if you dropped a burning stick, someone might run after it. Because in prehistoric life, fire was worth far more than gold. Gold could not cook dinner. It could not keep your children alive during winter. It could not scare away wolves waiting outside your camp. And if your fire died, there was no lighter, no match, no gas stove waiting nearby. Creating a new fire could take hours, sometimes an entire day, sometimes it failed completely. That is why prehistoric people treated fire less like a tool and more like a resource that had to be protected every single day. Some groups carried it while traveling. Others protected glowing embers through storms and harsh winters. A family could replace tools, they could find more food, but losing fire could put everyone at risk. So how did ancient humans protect it? Who was responsible for it? How did they transport it across long distances? Did people share it? And why did a small pile of glowing embers become one of the most valuable things a human being could own? To understand that, we need to spend a day inside a prehistoric camp. The first thing many people did in the morning was check the fire, not hunt, not gather food, not make tools, the fire. During the night, flames were often allowed to shrink into glowing embers. Large flames consumed too much fuel. Embers were easier to preserve. Before sunrise, someone inspected the fire pit. If the embers were still alive, dry grass and small sticks could quickly bring the fire back. If they were dead, the day immediately became harder. Today, starting a fire takes seconds. In prehistoric times, it often required friction methods, dry materials, patience, and skill. Even experienced people could fail. Rain, wind, or damp wood could ruin the process. That is why preserving fire was usually more important than creating it. Once the camp woke up, people naturally gathered around the fire. Food was reheated, meat was cooked, water was warmed, children stayed near the heat. Hunters prepared for the day, toolmakers repaired equipment. The fire pit often became the busiest place in camp. In many ways, daily life revolved around it. One reason fire became so valuable was food. Cooking made meat easier to chew and digest. Many plants became safer to eat after heating. People could get more energy from their meals and spend less time chewing tough food. A successful fire often meant a better meal meant healthier people, and healthier people meant a stronger community. But food was only part of the story. Night was equally important. Modern cities never truly become dark. Prehistoric camps did. When the sun disappeared, darkness arrived quickly. There were no streetlights, no flashlights, no electric bulbs, only the moon, the stars, and the fire. The campfire became a small circle of light surrounded by darkness. Beyond that darkness could be wolves, hyenas, bears, or large cats. Fire could not eliminate danger, but many predators avoided flames and smoke. For families sleeping in temporary shelters, fire offered protection that nothing else could provide. People trusted it, they depended on it. And because everyone depended on it, someone had to manage it. Anthropologists cannot say exactly who performed this role in every prehistoric society. Human groups were different from one another, but experienced individuals likely became responsible for maintaining fires. Knowledge mattered. Not everyone knew how to preserve embers during bad weather. Not everyone knew which wood burned best. Not everyone knew how to revive a weak fire before it died. The people who understood these things possessed valuable skills. A skilled hunter provided food. A skilled firekeeper helped protect the entire camp. Both were important. Fire also determined where humans could live. During Ice Age periods, many regions were brutally cold. Without fire, large areas would have been almost impossible to inhabit. It provided warmth during freezing nights, it dried wet clothing, it warmed shelters, it reduced the dangers of cold exposure. For many prehistoric communities, surviving winter depended on maintaining reliable fires, and maintaining fire required fuel. Every day, people collected wood, branches, bark, and dry grass. Not because they wanted to, but because they had to. A fire constantly consumed resources. Every evening's warmth depended on fuel gathered earlier in the day. During winter, fuel collection became even more important. Running out of fuel could quickly become dangerous. In many ways, prehistoric people were managing an ancient energy system. Travel made fire even more valuable. Many groups moved across the landscape in search of food, water, and hunting grounds. And they often carried fire with them, not as open flames, but as living embers. People transported embers using slow-burning materials such as fungi, bark, or carefully prepared wood. The goal was simple: do not let the fire die. A single glowing ember could become tomorrow night's campfire. This required constant attention. Too much air and it burned out. Too little air and it suffocated. Rain could kill it completely. If the ember died during a journey, creating a new fire became necessary, and that was never guaranteed. Fire was also something people shared. Imagine one group's fire dies after heavy rain while a neighboring group still has glowing embers. Giving away a small ember cost very little, but for the receiving group it could mean warmth, food, and security. Sharing fire likely helped build relationships between communities. Today you share embers, tomorrow they share food, later they help during a difficult hunt. These exchanges strengthened social networks and improved survival. Did people trade fire? Not in the modern sense. There were no fire markets, no fire stores, but fire clearly had value. And valuable things often became part of broader systems of exchange and cooperation. Fire also improved technology. Wooden spear tips could be hardened using heat, natural glues could be produced, resins could be processed, tools became stronger and more effective. Without fire, many technological advances would have been impossible. This meant losing fire affected much more than cooking. It affected hunting, travel, tool making, shelter construction, and almost every aspect of daily life. Children learned these lessons early. They learned which wood burned well, how to protect embers, how to avoid wasting fuel, how to safely maintain a fire. These skills were passed from generation to generation, not through books, but through observation and experience. The campfire became one of humanity's earliest classrooms. As evening arrived, people gathered around it once again. Food cooked, tools were repaired, plans were discussed, children listened, elders shared knowledge, stories were told. Researchers believe campfires may have played an important role in the development of storytelling itself. For the first time, humans had reliable light after sunset. For the first time, communities could remain active together during the night. The fire did more than provide heat. It created opportunities for communication and learning. Now imagine losing it. A storm arrives, the fire dies, the fuel is wet, night is approaching. Suddenly, everything becomes harder. Food cannot be cooked, warmth disappears, light disappears, protection decreases. Travel plans become uncertain. One lost fire affects nearly every part of life. That is why prehistoric people worked so hard to protect it. Today, gold seems valuable, but value depends on circumstances. A gold nugget cannot keep a child warm, it cannot cook food, it cannot scare away predators, it cannot dry wet clothing, it cannot help repair a spear. Fire could do all of those things. That is why a glowing ember often mattered more than a piece of precious metal. Not because prehistoric people ignored beauty, but because survival came first. Long before kingdoms, currencies, and treasure vaults, one of humanity's greatest assets was a small flame burning at the center of a camp. Someone protected it, someone fed it, someone carried it across long journeys, someone passed the knowledge to the next generation. Every morning began with it. Every night ended beside it, and for thousands of years, human civilization moved forward one campfire at a time. A single ember did not just survive the night, it carried the future of entire communities. And in that fragile glow, the story of modern humanity quietly began.